Hi everyone, and welcome back to Splashpage. I'm Sean, and as always, I'm joined by Andrew.
Hey.
Andrew, man, what did you think of episodes 4 through 6 of Arcane?
It has been a long time since I went to sleep excited on a Friday night to wake up for Saturday morning cartoons.
Fantastic.
I know, right?
I totally agree. I felt the same way.
Right? I mean, it was so much fun, and there was so much getting ready to watch it and what's going to happen. And of course, this is no Super Friends. It's a little bit darker, but it was a very an exciting moment to be like, ooh, what's going to happen next?
Yeah, I agree. And listen, the episodes 4 through 6, no one's going to mistake them for Empire Strikes Back or the Two Towers from the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Right.
But I think these episodes did a great job of advancing the story, giving us more context on the world of both Zahn and Piltover, and then really giving us some cliffhangers and things to be excited about for the final 3 episodes.
Yeah.
So, all in all, I love these.
I really like the time jump, too, because... it's like 3 movies we got going because we got that first setup and then we kind of jumped however many years into the future to see. We don't have to follow every plot point and every moment of their lives. Just kind of see what happens, see the exciting points.
Yeah, and that time jump as well led to extra intrigue of potential backstory, what happened between the 2 time periods that we've seen. So really, I think moving forward and seeing the transformation of Powder, who... was an adorable little 7, 8, 9-year-old to now a tattoo-covered kind of terrorist in Piltover.
Yeah.
Being a part of this sect of people led by Silco, who we've all determined is most likely the big bad of the series. It was kind of heartbreaking, but also really cool because leaving her out of the story and leaving Vi out of the story until basically they meet for the first time when we see them, both assuming the other was dead or gone, was awesome.
I'm just realizing this now. It's kind of what I wanted to see in Y the Last Man when Hero and Yorick first met in the books. That's kind of what I wanted to see in the show. That moment of, well, we used to be family and now things have gotten crazy.
Right. Yeah, and really, I think on top of just that meeting, we got to see a lot of story between Vi and her post blowing up of Silco's factory when Vander died, as well as learned a lot about Powder / Jinx from kind of where we opened to where we ended episode 6.
Yeah, Jinx has gone a little insane, and she kind of gives me Harley Quinn vibes with the bright colored paint and the talking to voices in her head.
Yes, totally. I would agree with that, and I think they're really playing up that kind of multiple personality or things talking in her head standpoint. I mean, she's always been a tinkerer, and all of those little bombs were never just simple bombs. She always named them, she drew faces on them, and I wonder if there's some kind of connection between the voices she's hearing and these things she's creating. She's obviously still carrying the bunny doll that was thrown up into the power lines, which was Vi's as a child. She has that and has continued to keep that with her, which I would assume is about probably 10 years from the first 3 episodes to these next few episodes.
Something like that.
So there's still that connection.
She's probably in her late teens now.
Right. And I honestly, when we first saw the interaction between Silco and Jinx, I was like, what kind of relationship is this? It seemed a little too close to be father-daughter, and the age difference seems way too big to be kind of lovers.
Yeah.
I think they did later say she's kind of like a daughter to him or something like that, which helped a little bit, but it was a bit creepy up first.
Like a Joker Harley Quinn kind of relationship. They're kind of, it feels like they're sexually attracted to each other, but not in a sexual way, if that makes any sense.
Potentially, yeah. So we see Jinx navigate her way through a heist, which obviously goes wrong because she's a part of it, hence the name Jinx. They are still moving Shimmer, and it looks like Shimmer, which is that purple juice that we saw in the first 3 episodes, They've been able to weaponize it a bit more in the sense that it's more controllable, but it still wreaks havoc. It's not like you have to drink it and become a giant monster.
Right.
It's able to fuel different items, which is really cool.
Yeah, it seems to be everywhere above and underground. Like in Silco's second in command, Savika, she's got that crazy mechanical arm that can kind of pump it into her a little bit at a time.
Yep, and then basically what we see from the Jinx character, she still is struggling with who she was versus who she became. She's obviously having these kind of mood swings or multiple personalities where she's bombing things, killing people in Piltover. She ends up stealing the gemstone hex piece, which was developed by Jayce. We'll get to. Yeah. And essentially, it looks like she has been able to harness what Jayce has been attempting to build, just based on her own little tinkering at the end of episode 6. So, really looking forward to how they move her story forward in the final 3 episodes, because really, with the reconnection to her sister, as well as still not... It still seems like she has some level of responsibility or familiarity with Silco, even though she ended it by doing something that's kind of like an FU to him.
Right. She seems just too far gone to come back to Vi.
Yeah.
Like, she's almost there, but just a little too far gone. But she did... she's become uncontrollable even by Silco when she gasses Savika and kills her and hangs her from the ceiling, writes liar on her arm or chest or wherever that was. Yeah, she's gone completely nuts. But she's just on the edge of it.
Yep. Well, one thing I did want to ask is one of the opening scenes, and then again at the end of episode 6, we meet a group called the Firelight Crew, or the Firelights.
The Firelights, who I believe had a hit song in the 50s. I believe that was a New York-based doo-wop group who sang around a trash can at night.
There you go. And all they did was they stole Marty McFly's hoverboard, and now they think they're great.
Well, they can fly because they got power.
Yeah. Well, so it looks like they're kind of a third group. There is the Piltover Enforcers. There are the Zon, the Lanes, the Underground, Silco's crew. And then there's this third group who doesn't appear to be working with either of those. And we don't really, unless there's something blatant that we missed, doesn't really seem to be clear what their goal is.
It seems like they're trying to wreak havoc, stop Shimmer from spreading. It seems almost like they're the vigilante good guys doing it in a bad way also, kind of like a lot of the characters in this show.
Yeah. Yeah, excuse the Song of Ice and Fire reference, but it's almost like Beric Dondarrion.
Yeah.
The Brothers Without Banners, and they're just kind of wreaking havoc because they know they can and are trying to fight back against all powers.
Right.
So I fully suspect that we'll get more from them. And again, comment down below if you know who they are or what they're doing. Would love to get people's opinions if this is like a game Easter egg that we missed. I'm sure one of those characters has to be from the game.
Well, they gave me very much Batman Beyond vibes.
Batman Beyond. Yeah, I can see that.
I just want to stop you right here and apologize to anyone listening. It just started pouring out in thunder and lightning, so if that comes through on the audio, I'm sorry. There's not much I could do about it. Yeah.
New York under under duress. Great. Well, let's move over to Vi's story, who we find in a jail cell. Basically, don't see her for the full first episode 4, until the very, very end, and find out that she's been locked away essentially since the Silco factory fight. And, she's taken time to toughen up, get a little face tattoo, which I was staring at forever, being like, why does she have the number 6 tattooed on her face? And it's not Roman numerals, it's just V and I, Vi, her name. So
which is strange to tattoo your own name on your face, but I guess it makes sense in this case.
Yeah, I mean, she's a badass, she's in jail, what else are you going to do? Remind her who she is. She gets out of jail due to a very quick conversation with Caitlyn, who now is an enforcer, very much against her parents' wishes, a job well below her status. And she wants to solve this kind of terrorist attack and wants to question one of Silco's men who was captured during, or slightly after it happened. And Vi apparently attacked him, broke his jaw, so he can't talk.
Right.
So Caitlyn goes to Vi and doesn't really know who she is, doesn't know what her connection to this story is at all. Frees her from jail because she assumes she can help in the lanes.
And she frees her under the false pretense of Jayce's new spot on the council.
Right.
Which I did like later on when it comes to Jayce's attention. Marcus asks him, "You let someone free from jail under Caitlyn?" And he's like, "Yeah, don't worry about it." He kept his cards very close to his chest. I'm assuming he'll look into that and figure out what the hell happened.
Right. Yeah. I agree, and I think he is probably protecting Caitlyn at this point, not knowing what she's up to.
Yeah.
And let's see if it comes back to bite him or not. The relationship between Vi and Caitlyn is an interesting one as well, as they are, first of all, both very good at parkour, which I feel like you have to be in this world. If you're not parkouring, you can't make it.
If you're not parkouring, what are you even doing here? I mean, come on.
Exactly. Happy to see. Vi still has it, and Caitlyn kind of figures it out. They realize that the last drop has now been taken over by Silco's men. Last drop obviously being the bar that Vander used to own.
Silco's taken over Vander's spot like he wanted to when he took him down in the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, and he's made it a club, so it's bumping at night. It's probably completely against Vander's wishes.
Yeah. And again, it felt very kind of Batman-esque, like the Joker owning a club or that kind of feel.
Yeah, it went from the cantina on Mos Eisley to
the Joker's hangout in Batman Beyond, probably.
Yeah. So Vi then goes to a brothel that we saw in, I think, the first episode, where we just walked by when they were kids coming back from the heist. And they break in and pretend to work there and have a conversation with the madam, who is kind of like this pixie creature, which they kind of have a conversation about what has changed over the years since Vander has been lost. And obviously it's all for the worse.
I really do like Vi and Caitlyn's relationship there, because it truly is a relationship of, what's the word?
Necessity?
Say again?
Necessity?
Yeah, it truly is a relationship made out of necessity and of convenience, and not one that they necessarily want to have, but they both feel they could use the other to get what they need.
And another nice little Easter egg is Vi starts calling Caitlyn Cupcake.
Right.
Which, if you look in the very beginning of the first episode during the heist, there were cupcakes on the balcony. And that's when they're robbing Jayce's apartment. And essentially, that Jayce is sponsored by Caitlyn's family. Cupcake is a pretty cool connection. And obviously in the game, I think there are further connections to her and cupcakes.
Apparently that's something that also comes up in the game with Caitlyn and cupcakes. Again, I haven't played the game, but I feel like I believe she uses cupcakes in bear traps of some sort as one of her signature moves. So let me know if I'm right down in the comments. Yeah. Because I was skimming around, so I think that's what was happening.
Right. So then we get our first big conflict with Vi, and Vi sees
Sevika
playing cards, gambling, and Vi comes in hot with a flying knee to the face.
Sevika wins a hand.
That was awesome.
Sevika wins her hand, and as the pot, she takes a knee to the chin.
Yeah, we get a very cool fight scene. We get the usage of Shimmer.
Yes.
As more of a battery or a charger versus someone drinking it. And we get the Matrix hand movement from Sevika. I can't do that. So, very cool fight scene there, which ends by Vi getting stabbed and Caitlyn shooting, like helping her survive by scaring off her foe.
Right. Didn't kill her, and she probably could have with her ability to shoot, like we saw in her flashback with Grayson when she was younger.
Right. Do want to call that out. Grayson is not still alive. That was a flashback because that caught me as well. I was like, wait, is she alive?
I know, right?
How did that happen?
Well, Grayson has had a significant impact on a lot of these characters, like Caitlyn, where she let her win that competition in the flashback. Because for Grayson, it's not about winning awards, it's about using that weapon to protect people, and I think Caitlyn took a little of that to heart. And then Grayson's effect on Marcus, where he's now kind of got himself into a relationship with Silco that he doesn't love because it worked for Grayson and Vander.
Right. Trying to replace what was a working relationship now with one that is more of a blackmail situation for Marcus and
we used to have
under the thumb.
Yeah, we used to have two people with shades of gray with Grayson and Vander, and now we have two people that are both black and white with Marcus and Silco that are not going to find the middle ground.
Right, I agree. One last thing on the Vi story, or a few last things. When after Vi gets stabbed, Caitlyn goes out, and they're kind of in the slums, I would say, of
Zaun.
Zaun, like just horrible area.
Mm-hmm.
And a little man comes up to her and tries to help, and I believe this is Huck from the first episode, the character that was talking to the traders before Vander came over and made sure they got their full payment.
Yeah, I wasn't sure who that was, but if that's the bartender, that's Huck. That was an interesting character to bring back, because he did help out Vi, but then he ratted on her and brought Silco right to their door.
Yeah, addicted to the shimmer for sure.
Yeah.
They end up escaping that situation, and then we have the Vi and Jinx / Powder reunion. Powder lights up a blue flare that was given to her by Vi when they were children. Again, another thing that Jinx held on to for 10 years, whatever it may be. And Vi, totally holds her end of the bargain by showing up.
Shows up just as the beacon dies. I did love that shot of Powder / Jinx holding up the beacon, and the camera spins around, and you see Milo and Clagger in ghost form at her back. Yep. It felt very Les Miserables, like the empty chairs and empty tables scene, where they're all remembering their fallen comrades. It was very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and potentially that's where some of these voices in Jinx's head are coming from.
Yeah, she's remembering Milo, Clagger, probably Vander.
Mm-hmm. And I wonder if that'll become more pronounced, as in we're actually hearing hearing Jinx talk to these people. I'm not saying it will, I just think that could be an interesting further development.
I kind of like not hearing them talk back to her. I like the one-sided phone discussion between her and her ghosts.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I'm not against that either.
Yeah.
I think it plays really well. But I'm just curious if it's the actual character talking to her, like that being, or if it's just multiple voices and we are seeing it as these people that she lost.
Yeah.
And then the Firelight crew comes out and kind of makes a mess of things. So breaking up the party there, it looks like they kidnap Vi. They have the gemstone, and Jinx is kind of left on her own.
Yeah. So I feel like we should go back and cover a couple other topics from these 3 episodes. The Mel and Jace relationship, where Mel, Jace, and Viktor are kind of forming a triangle against Heimerdinger. The people who live but short human lives versus the small creature who lives for thousands of years and founded the city 200 years ago and is still on the council. They're really looking to move things forward at a more human pace than Heimerdinger is ready to go with, and end up getting him unanimously voted off of the council.
Yeah, which I have to assume is going to be a very big deal in the next 3 episodes we're going to get, because Heimerdinger seems to be the one who has this kind of longer view and the ability to remember what happened, and this more short-sighted, quick, um, progression for progression's sake, invention for invention's sake. I mean, now we do have a bit more because obviously Viktor's life's at stake here, but there's risk when there's experimentation, and Heimerdinger sees that and wants to avoid that at all costs. But in the blink of an eye in a human life, there's just no time to wait.
It feels very much like the jump from the flip phone to the iPhone with the new technology, with the hex tech. What's it called?
Sure.
Yeah, not that I'm saying the iPhone will kill us all one day, but I guess we never know.
I mean, it certainly will. That's how I always assumed I was going to go.
Yeah, by iPhone. Death by iPhone.
Yeah. The relationship too between Mel and Jayce is an interesting one.
Yeah.
It starts as kind of two people with similar goals to have more power, more opportunity. Jayce always came from the side of helping people. Mel, she seems to have a little bit more sinister, wants just more power, the ability to make money.
Well, she's out for herself, which is kind of the theme of the show from the opening credits song by Imagine Dragons, which is stuck in my head all day now, constantly, that Imagine Dragons song.
I also love that they put characters to represent the band actually in the show, to make it music in the show.
They had a guest star.
I wonder if they had the opportunity to pick like what their character looked like put some tattoos on my face or whatever.
I don't know, but that was very cool. I love that.
Yeah. So now it looks like Hex Tech or the next evolution of that is going to be an attempt to help Viktor and therefore extend human life or some level of interference with organic material.
Well, we saw,
which is cool because let's go for it.
Well, we saw the thing eat his blood or drink his blood, and then he was able to make it grow trees that died very quickly. I'm guessing it works with organic matter, but only with Viktor's organic matter because he was the first one to put his blood into it, albeit by accident. I have a feeling this is going to be something that powers him and turns him into some sort of a fighter, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely, or at least I did, kind of felt that the Viktor-Jayce relationship was a temporary one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they had the same end goal. They certainly came at it from different starting points, and it seems like they're going in different directions going forward. So I would agree that whatever happens to this tech, I would expect something big to happen to Viktor. I don't think he dies. I think he becomes kind of more of an evil, evil portion of this, knowing especially what we know from his past, where he's basically reenacting the opening scene of It, playing with his little boat. It goes down a river, goes down the side of the street, and then, in it goes down a sewer. Here it goes into a cave when he follows, and he meets a kind of mad scientist.
Mad hermit scientist,
Mad hermit scientist who's keeping, I think the creature's name was...
Rio?
Rio alive, and then obviously harvesting something from him, which could be Shimmer, to be honest with you. It is purple.
That's a good point.
Maybe that's where Shimmer comes from.
Well, you have to keep the mutation alive, not necessarily the creature that mutated, but the mutation,
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. I do agree Viktor is going to have some offshoot story, offshoot mission. And then, we're kind of seeing the real tainting of Jayce as well, going closer to Mel's side than his initial path of just wanting to help people. Obviously, getting Heimerdinger kicked out of the council is going to alleviate some of the forces that were attempting to stop him. The other interesting thing, too, is Hex Tech, as we know it from the first 3 episodes. It seems like really all it's been used for is kind of these portals to help commerce and trade and have airships go from one spot to another spot more quickly.
Everyone on the council was against it until they saw the monetary pluses of it. And I do love that they've created super fast travel, but they're still using blimps. Or airships, whatever you want to call it. I mean, come on. I don't know what it is about steampunk that everyone loves blimps. Blimps show up in even in the Art Deco old Batman cartoon, the Batman the Animated Series, when they built the Empire State Building, they famously put that spike on top so that blimps could one day land there. People are obsessed with blimps for some reason. I don't get it.
Well, they're airships as we get in that conversation, but that's just steampunk, man. That's just how it's going to be.
It really is. I don't know.
It's just that's it.
They love their rigid airships.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it too, it's in his Dark Material, the airship idea. It's a fantasy air travel.
I guess it's the easiest way to travel because you can feasibly figure out how to put helium or whatever into a balloon type thing rather than try to figure out a combustion engine and create a jet or a plane. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Still, I mean, I don't know. Who wants to be in an airship or a blimp going 3,000 miles an hour, though?
Well, I think it's more of a blink thing. It's kind of like a wormhole, I would assume.
Okay, still. It seems scary.
That's the way I took it, at least. And one more thing before we close, and we might be reading into this a little bit too much, but Heimerdinger, the lead scientist, the lead scientific mind of Piltover's name, sounds very similar to Oppenheimer. Heimer being the beginning of Heimerdinger, the end of Oppenheimer. And as we know, Oppenheimer created the atomic bomb and, basically to his dying day regretted the fact that he did that.
I have become death, destroyer of worlds.
Right, and I'm very curious if that's actually an intentional name, piece of taken from there, put there to kind of tell the story of why Heimerdinger might be so against this progress, because he's afraid that, building something like this could end the world. Well, thanks everyone. We have been loving this show. The last 3 episodes come out next Saturday, which we will make sure to do a video for as quickly as we can. Again, comment down below if we got anything wrong, if there's something from the video game that we should know that we're just completely glancing over.
Or just comment down below and say hi.
Yeah, just let us know how we're doing with this show. We appreciate everyone watching. And honestly, the show has kind of come out of nowhere and given us something great to talk about, so we're super excited about it. Andrew, you got anything going on?
Nothing currently. Working.
All right, great. Well, with that said, have a good one. Take it easy, YouTube.
See you later.